ahead, try it again.
Yeah.
Right here with Chael Sonnen with the grand opening of the UFC gym here in Rosemead, California. Chael, I couldn't help but see your eyes kind of light up as you were touring the gym and checking out the facility. I was wondering, any hopes, aspirations of them opening the UFC gym in your neck of the woods?
I've heard that there's going to be 300 of these gyms, and I can't remember the time span, it was like in 5 years, maybe it was even 10 years, but it was really fast for 300, considering this is number 2. But they're going worldwide. They're looking at property in Mexico, they're looking at London, they're looking just in the States, I mean all over, but as far as Hawaii, they're already looking at real estate, they got feet on the ground. So to think that one would come to Oregon is certainly really exciting.
Yes, you come from a wrestling background. In a lot of American schools, colleges, wrestling seems to be kind of being a dying sport. What do you think we need to do to kind of change all of that?
Well, it's just marketing. That's all it is. It's hype and excitement. Why are we tuning in? Fighting is the same way. You know, people don't just tune in to see a fight. That's not true. They've got to know why they're tuning in. They got to know what the build-up is. Why are these two competing? Now, there's always a reason, but it's the job of, if you put it, wrestling, to put those reasons forward. If you've got, take my home state, if you've got Oregon taking on Oregon State, you need to make sure you explain to the fans the history of these two schools, why this is important, why an in-state rivalry is the biggest match of the year, and then people will come. But just because you roll out a wrestling match, you put a referee out there with a whistle, that's not a good enough reason. Wrestling should be dying in this country because they've done a horrible job. They can resurrect it, but they haven't taken any steps in the right direction. None. It is atrocious how bad they do at marketing. It should die. I don't want it to, but that's the job that they do. There's no entity that survives being mismanaged, and wrestling is horribly mismanaged.
Mr. Sonnen, what are your thoughts on, the state of amateur MMA, amateur mixed martial arts?
Well, I'm the authority in the country for amateur MMA. I legalized in the state of Oregon. Oregon was the first recognized athletic commission in the union, the entire nation, to regulate amateurs. My amateur show, or the amateur show that I work with, we produced 13 UFC fighters, including a UFC judge, a UFC referee, and a UFC timekeeper. So, we train judges, we have classes, we train referees, we have courses on this, and we find talent and bring them up. It's the only amateur show in the country that's televised, and it should be. It's the only one that does it right.
What do people need to do to, kind of follow your example? How can we find out more about, or how can promoters find out what you've been doing so you can hopefully they can follow in your footsteps?
Well, one, they could call and ask. They could go to the website and get information, thefcff.com, as in Full Contact Fighting Federation, thefcff.com. But, promoters, for the most part, are a pretty shady bunch. They're about one step above a hooker off the street. So, if you get a promoter who's a decent guy, he's going to go out and do a good job. They're few and far between. That's just the industry that we're in. So, you deal with a lot of fly-by-night guys that are in there to make a quick buck, that don't understand business, longevity, or doing what's right by the sport.
Mr. Sonnen, when are you going to step back into the political arena? I know you ran for, was it the House of Representatives?
Yeah, I wish I was in it right now. I miss it. I resigned my candidacy. I had to go deal with a legal issue, and I don't know that I should have resigned. Maybe I should have just fought them both at the same time. I miss it a lot. I could have won the election either way. I had the backing of the people, but it comes down to also the issue of, once you get elected, you now owe the people, and you've got to be able to do a very good job. I knew I was going to have to go and confront this other issue. Where's my time going to be? And I don't know. I can't see the future, so I resigned. I might regret that. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Now I got to wait until another cycle comes around.
Kind of stand with politics. Do you think President Obama should extend the Bush-era tax cuts, or should he just let them expire?
Oh no! You should never tax anybody. You know, government, especially Democrats. This is a big side, a big distinction. They see extending those tax cuts as $700 billion they will lose. If you look at it like that, essentially what they're saying is that that's government's money. The government has all the money and then gets to disperse it how they see fit. And that's not true. Government doesn't provide a good or a service. It's the people's money. Give the people their money. Let them spend their money however they want. Now that should not be a party issue. Everybody should agree to that, but they don't. You've got all of these unions and all of these state agencies that collect a paycheck off of people like me and you who get taxed, feed, and fined. Well, yeah, that's a great deal if you can get it, but the rest of us that have to get up and slug it out every day to earn a buck, that's not right. That's not the government's money. And you don't penalize success, not in a capitalistic society which we live in. You do not punish a guy for being successful. So not only should they extend those tax cuts, there should be tax cuts for everybody. Absolutely everybody should be paying less in taxes, and government should tighten their belt, like all the rest of us have to.
This past week, we saw the Tea Partiers kind of upset a lot of people in the local elections. What is your thought on the whole Tea Party phenomenon?
Well, the Tea Party is going to pull the Republican Party apart. So the Tea Party, that's a problem. That's a big problem. That's going to open a big door for the Democrats. With that said, I would trade my Republican card in right now for a Tea Party card. The Tea Partiers are absolutely correct, and they've said it's enough, it's enough. You come out, you tell us you're a Republican, and you're not. And they're calling Republicans on it, and I'm happy they are. But there's going to be backlash. Anytime there's a revolution, there's backlash for it. So it may get worse before it gets better. But I am a Tea Partier. I love them, and I love that they're forcing people to be accountable.
Speaking of being accountable, rate, I guess on a report card scale, rate President Obama's first term in office.
Well, here's the deal. If you liked President Bush, and I did, you like President Obama. Well, President Obama's just doing what Bush did. Bush told him before you ever get in here, you're not going to pull out of Iraq no matter how much you think you are, and you're not going to pull out of Afghanistan. You don't see the CIA briefings. He told Obama that, and sure enough, not only did Obama not pull out, he sent 30,000 more troops. So whatever is truly going on in the Middle East that President Bush was privileged and burdened with, now President Obama is. President Obama had his feet held in the fire one time when those 3 punk Somalis took one of our captains. President Obama gave the order to pull the trigger. He's got blood on his hands, and that's exactly where it should be if you're president. I was very proud of Obama for doing that. I was proud to be an American that day. They got our guy back. That was the right decision. So, look, Obama's all right by me. I'm not going to vote for him. He's not good for business. And that's what we really need right now. But the one time that he could have been a coward or been a man, he stood up real fast. And I admire that.
What do you say to all the UFC fans, I guess voters who were franchised, but now they're disenfranchised, because, we had a lot of, President Obama coming in, wave of change, but then, reality set in, and now we have a lot of guys in the local elections not voting. What do you say to those guys?
I love it. Hey guys, you got what you deserve. But when President Obama comes out and he's campaigning, and he's the best campaigner I've ever seen, I would love to see a debate between he and Bill Clinton. That would just be one for the ages. I'd pay top dollar to get in. But look, when a guy comes out and tells you he's going to give you a tax credit and a tax cut so that your kids can go to college, they can buy laptops, you can get a new family car. I mean, you don't got to have to put on your Columbo rain jacket to figure out that doesn't pencil. So President Obama came out, he promised everything to everybody, and he won the election. Well, listen, dummies, you get what you get. If you don't pay attention, if that really made sense to you, then you're getting what you deserve, and I'm glad you are.
Thank you. Moving back to UFC now. Back to your last fight with Anderson Silva. I guess after the fight, he said he came in hurt. What was your thought when that the rib injury? Excuse. What was your thought on that?
I have no problem with him. The only one that knows if his rib is hurt is him. I don't know him to be a liar. So if he says his rib's hurt, I believe him that his rib's hurt. He's got one really big problem. He signed under penalty of perjury with the California State Athletic Commission that he had no injuries. If he in fact did have an injury and he in fact lied, he will have his license revoked. So he needs to be real careful banging that drum that he was hurt. Now with that said, I certainly don't dispute he was. Only he knows. But that's a big problem for him. Maybe he hasn't read the fine print on those contracts, but you can't lie to the commission. They work at the direction of the Attorney General's office, who's the most powerful office in all of California.
Again, moving on to next year, here's the rematch. How do you see that playing out?
With Anderson, you never know. I haven't spent a whole lot of time thinking about it yet because it is a ways away. But my skills are my skills. I'm the best fighter in the world. I'm not one of the best guys. Nobody's even close to me. You'll never see me in a round that is back and forth. You've never seen me in a round that I've lost. Go back and pull the footage. I've never lost a round of fighting, ever. I've whipped everybody I've ever fought, and it's not even close. Anderson and I aren't even close. If I show up sick, tired, and hurt that day, I still win that fight.
Kind of old school stuff. Back in when you became when you should have took a Paulo Field's belt in WEC, they said they're going to mail it to you. Did you ever receive that in the mail?
Yes, Ed Soros took that belt and mailed it to me. Yeah.
And being in California, have you had a chance to go visit the Black House Gym?
No.
Would you like to?
Would I like to? No, but I also wouldn't not like to. I don't have any. I don't have anything against visiting the gym, but no, I don't. It's kind of like watching a fight. I've seen enough fights. I don't really want to go watch a fight. I really don't want to go. I only go to gyms when I have to, and I have to go all the time. So no, that doesn't appeal to me to see their gym, but not because of hard feelings.
Do you have any teammates, any sponsors you'd like to thank, Mr. Sonnen?
I got a ton of people that I want to thank. So I won't even get into it, but I've had a lot of help along the way. When I was a young guy, I met up with Matt Lindland. When I was a young guy, I got taken in by Randy Couture and Dan Henderson. And those are three of the baddest guys ever. And that's slang. When I say bad, I mean good. So I've been really lucky. I got in with King Quest, and I just had a lot of good luck. But that's really it.
And what was your last trip? When was your last time that you were on Oahu? When was the last time you visited Hawaii? Visited Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii. I've only got to go to Hawaii one time. I fought Rumble on the Rock, and I was a main event with a gentleman named Homer Moore. And it was great. I was in Hilo, and Hilo is like heaven on earth. It's absolutely amazing, and everybody there tells me that Hilo is the worst part of Hawaii. Now, in my opinion, you're kidding me. There's a better place than this. I could have lived my life there. It was we had so much fun. And I was out there, and BJ Penn's dad came along, and he realized we're there, and then he just took care of us from there. He gave us a car.